casualties. As the troops cautiously moved off the beach, the DD tanks were pushing on into the seaside towns in search of the enemy.
And we travelled on. It was very unreal, because never see any Germans, never see any Englishmen. And then we stopped, and Charlie said, well, we can't go any further, you know, what? We got to find somebody. So Barry and I got off the tank and went walking back to see if we could get some petrol. We wandered along and found a lot of other people wandering about as well. Got some petrol, went back, and we never did see anybody from the squadron.
I was looking ahead and I suddenly saw them move out the corner of my eye. And I was in utter amazement as this young French woman on a push cycle. And she got a yoke across her shoulders and 2 milk cans hanging from it. And she calmly cycled across the front of the tank, turned left and headed down towards the beachhead. I don't suppose anybody had told this girl that the greatest invasion the world had ever known was taking place. And in any case, the cart had to be milked, or milked, I suppose.
In almost 2 hours, the Americans had only advanced a few hundred feet up Omaha Beach and had lost hundreds of soldiers. Harley Reynolds was still trapped behind the barbed wire. There were none of Percy Hobart's flail tanks to clear a way through. 6 months earlier, the American commanders had politely turned down what they saw as an eccentric British invention. Harley would have to cut through by hand.
I had made up my mind that I was going to go through the wire, and then all of a sudden, just out of the blue, this small man came up, and he was this close to I could touch him. And he made his way between these men here, and he had a section of Bangalore in front of him.
The Bangalore torpedo was a piece of kit that predated the First World War, but it was tried and tested.
He had one section of the torpedo in front of him, got the other section screwed them together, and then pushed the whole thing. That made it about 10 feet long, so that when it went off, it would blow a pathway through there. You could drive a truck through. Immediately that explosion went off, I got my gun in my hand, and I'm up. I don't move that fast these days, but I'm up, and I make a dash. And I make a dash through this wire. And my men are right with me. And my men are right with me. That leg didn't work too well.
Harley and his men had blown one of the first exits off the beach. After 2 hours, the troops around him could at last stream off to safety. With the Americans set to take Omaha Beach, D-Day was also about to end for Franz Gogol.
2 Finger wurden total durchschossen.
2 fingers had been completely shot through. The third had just a flesh wound with the other 2 fingers dangling beside it. My first thought was, hell, what are you going to do now? Then one of my comrades said to me, that's your ticket home.
Franz would be one of the lucky ones. He left his 26 comrades at the machine gun post fighting. Only 7 survived. In losing all 5 beaches to the Allies, the Germans suffered around 6,500 casualties. In the British sector, with so many less casualties, it was clear the new technology had saved countless lives. By the end of the day, the minefields and beach obstacles had been almost completely cleared by Hobart's funnies. And the floating tanks had helped to usher the troops through Rommel's treacherous beaches.
We all gathered round the squadron leader's tank. The radio operator tuned into the BBC home service. This was just before 6 o'clock. And then we heard the 6 o'clock news, and it said, early this morning, Allied forces landed on the coast of France. So, oh, that's rather strange. We hadn't heard about that. But, But of course, it was rather strange to think they were talking about us and we were sitting there listening to it on the radio.
As the paratroopers at last moved up to reinforce the infantry on the American beaches, the body count began. Of the 10,000 Allied casualties on D-Day, 2,000 had fallen on one stretch of land, 3.5 miles long. Omaha Beach. "60 years ago, at exactly the same moment in time, these three men would only have been a stone's throw from one another on Omaha Beach. Neither Harley nor Jimmy have ever met one of the German soldiers who shot at them from the hill just above the beach.
In some ways, I'm pleased to meet him.
Oh, yes, I am too.
You know, I didn't know how I would feel, but it seemed strange that we were enemies at one time.
Yes.
Good morning.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, very well. I am Franz Gockel.
Yes.
I was here on the D-Day.
I'm Jimmy Green.
Yeah.
I'm very pleased to meet you.
Yeah.
We were coming in and you were looking at us as we came in.
I was on the other side.
I came in down here. I landed further down. Now, where were you? Were in a machine gun.
Yeah.
Where were you?
Where were you located here?
Just there.
Yeah.
Down here?
Oh, yes.
Then you could not see the beach where I landed.
Oh, we can
Could
see
you
on
see
the,
there?
to the
All
left.
the way there?
Yeah, left and right.
Did you see the craft come in?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It's something that I have never expected to do, is for you and him, the three of us, to get together like this.
So it's nice that the three of us could meet, and we're still alive to tell the tale.
Oh, it's a great experience to be here and to meet and to talk like this. Great experience.
In just 24 hours, over 150,000 Allied ground troops had been landed, and over 20,000 more dropped behind enemy lines. The longest day was over. Tomorrow they would start all over again.